Hi, my name's Orion from Fair Play, and I'm here with Ritchie from Crostpaths. How are you, man?
I'm good, my man. You all right?
I'm very good, man. I'm very excited because I have been listening to uh probably my favorite track of the moment on Fair Play,
Right, go on.
which is the Crossed Paths song, which is premiering there,
No,
called
no,
Pariah,
no.
and which is absolutely genius. So if it's cool with you, I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about it and just get a feel for the track and let. It's not no good coming from me. People would rather hear what you think of your own song. So
I doubt that. I doubt
I refuse to believe it. So no, I
that.
it was really interesting to hear it because one of the things that jumped out to me is I knew you for a while now
Yeah,
from a previous band that you were in, and what jumped out to me as soon as I heard this track um, was how very direct, how clear the idea of Crosspaths is, how much it knows where it wants to be, and I sort of wondered what you guys' concept is with that and how that came to be.
really good question, dude. Yeah, it is definitely a direct decision every move we make, and it's been quite fluid from the get go. I'll try and keep this answer short and sweet, so as not to bore everyone. But yeah, as you said, it was in a previous band, and Owen, who's on bass and vocals, was in that band too. Mace, the drummer for Crosspipes, he was in that band towards the end of it, but he never really got going. He got a few good gigs under his belt, but we didn't mesh as a band at that point. And the very, very last show of that band's existence, which fell apart for the usual reasons, um, Mikey, guitarist in Crosspaths, he filled it. So we were already in cahoots, so to speak. And when it comes to starting this project, some of us were a little burnt out from our previous bands, but we still had that fire in the belly to do something. And the dialogue was open from the get go, a little like this using the internet. Right, it wasn't so much meeting up. We did meet up, but we were doing a lot of group chatting, a lot of discussion. We set up Spotify playlists for influences and stuff like that. And so the genre that people might want to put us under or multiple subgenres, they're probably all accurate because we've talked about them incessantly.
Yeah. No, I love that, and that's actually really unique because so often it's somebody setting up a band and they come in and say it's going to be a band that's like this and like that, and but when it's a collaborative process and introducing things, I think that has led to a really interesting mix of what you guys are doing, and it's
Thank
something that feels very sure of itself, which is cool.
Definitely.
Um, Within that sort of sense of self, you obviously tackle some fairly substantive issues, but you
Yeah.
do so and have done as long as I've known you with a lot of humor. And I wondered if you could talk about that.
Yeah. It's one of those things like when it comes to lyric writing, even the guys in the band don't always know what the song's about unless they've outright asked me. And often it can be more than one topic in a song, as you'll know as a lyricist yourself. I think a lot of people that maybe don't write always think this song's about this one thing, but it's not. And so you can listen to certain songs in a different mood and hear them differently.
Yeah.
And I like to, and we like to use humor. We try not to do it in a cheesy way, hopefully, but we use it just because we like the gravity of some of the points we're trying to make. We want some fun and energy in there, and the fun and energy comes with humor for us because that's just what our personalities are like.
Yeah.
As I was saying, we sort of were a bit of a mishmash of a couple of older bands, and we were burnt out. So one of the key things was to enjoy this. And so even when the songs are heavier in their subject matter, there's still going to be that thread of sort of tongue in cheekness throughout it,
Yeah.
and that will come across more live, I guess. And it really comes across in this track, Pariah, the remix, because the guys we collaborated with, probably similar age, similar position to us in Donny Jet, and they really put some humour in on the bridge and the breakdown with some of the silly sort of lines they come
Yes,
out
they did.
with.
I
We
love
loved
it.
it. We loved it.
Speaking of, we are talking about your old band and it being a blend of these bands, and then this track being Donny Jep remix. I wondered
Yeah.
if, sort of in that sense of community, what does collaboration sort of mean to you?
Um, I've always been a fan of it as a music fan. So, because I love rock and metal, obviously, but particularly as I was coming of age and discovering music for myself. I mean, the rock side of things comes from my parents, really, because they loved old school 50s, 60s, and 70s rock
Yeah,
and roll. But so when I got into the equivalent bands of my generation, that just made sense. But the thing they didn't have when they were younger that I got into was hip hop.
yeah,
And the key thing in hip hop is collaboration. And I just think it's always good. The whole point of the band is to get different things in the melting pot and different ideas, different perspectives. Then if you do that with someone else outside of your band, the whole thing with this track was we literally gave them the stems from the original track and just said, do what you want with them.
yeah,
We like your stuff. We have faith that you're going to do something pretty cool with this. We were just chuffed that they wanted to do it. So the collaboration thing, especially during this time, which is so weird and uncertain because we've got no live music, we've got no real outlet. It was something we could do where we could reach out to another band. Because before you would be meeting them at a show
yeah.
and watching their set. This was another way for us to do that, to break the ice with people and just make a connection that we can build on from there.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I love that. And it's true. It keeps it challenging. It keeps it fresh, and it stops you getting too much into a groove that you just.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that point where a band, like you mentioned, some of the older bands, everybody knows. Jesus, when they got to about album 8, it became a bit repetitive, a bit by rote.
Yeah. It can be difficult to stay fresh.
Yeah, and it's important to. I got a quick fire round for you, real quick, man. Because your band aren't here, as much as you love them,
Yes.
we gotta call some, send a little negativity their way. Quick fire, as soon as it comes to your head, which one of your bandmates farts the most?
I would say myself, but I think they would all mention themselves. I think there's a lot of silent but violence in the rehearsal room sometimes. Depends what's happened the night before as well.
Fair, which probably leads me on to this. Who drinks the most?
It's between me and Owen, I think.
Fair.
Again, I think you need to catch us at a festival setting to really measure that because
I unfortunately have, and you guys were the only band that day to have a working bar and a working pizza store on the stage, which was very impressive. Worst one of you as a roommate for a tour?
Oh, it's between me and Owen because we both snort really badly. Yeah, we both snore, so we'd probably actually be, because we're a 4-piece, although Erin tags along when he's not too busy. I think me and Owen sharing a room together, as long as we could simultaneously pass out, everyone would be happy.
Fair. Little bit more cheery. Which one of your bandmates would you pick if you had to for a best man? I suppose that's a way of saying which one do you trust the most?
Oh, well, actually, I don't trust Owen the most because I know him too well.
Yep.
But he's the one I've known the longest, so it has to be loyalty there. But Mace and Mikey are just lovely, lovely, reliable lads who would make much better best men.
And you have no reason to think that they'd lose the rings. You have every reason to think Owen would lose the rings.
Exactly. I think Owen's a keen cosplayer. I think he'd end up losing the ring in a Batman glove or something like that. So
I love it. Actually, I got one more because I happen to know just before we hit record, you told me you were going out for a run, and it pressured me to. What distance are you doing?
Oh man, now I'm going to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Acknowledging that is going to be tough. I tend to do 5K, and I've been building up. Every other run, I do another K on top, and so tonight I'm going to try for the 10.
Fair play to you, man. Do you have a time in mind?
Well, my best sort of 5K time's around the 25-minute mark.
Sure.
I don't think I can sustain that for 10. So under an hour, I'll be happy. Under 55 minutes, even happier.
Fair play to you, man. Well, look, I wish you all luck in the world for it. This is Ritchie from the band Crostpaths, And the single Pariah is premiering exclusively now on Fair Play. Thank you so much for joining me, man.
Thanks, man. Take care, yeah.
Cheers.